Actually, it's been a great honor to be here, and this honor I would like to thank Mr. King Solomon, who actually allowed us to come and share some of our understanding about calling with all of you. Let me just get this sorted out first. Today, I'm going to share a little bit with you about finding a calling. 700 of you here, great souls, trying to find out where you want to be able to dedicate most of your life and trying to see where you will be able to achieve it. Now, finding a calling is easier, not easy. It's easier than fulfilling a calling. Finding a calling is deciding, knowing, realizing what to do. But fulfilling a calling is living out the rest of your life trying to achieve what you actually want to do. Okay? What is a calling? A calling is a mission, an activity where you carry out for the benefit of others, for the benefit of society, maybe even to be able to take the world to a higher level. That's a calling. So a calling means somebody who wants to dedicate their lives towards the betterment of humanity, towards the betterment of society. But there is another question there. The whole world is struggling to survive. How is one to find a calling? We need to worry about whether we have ability to survive the day we become independent of our parents. From the time we are born till the time we become 20, 21, 22, everything has been paid for by our parents. Right from our food to our school fees to our entertainment to our clothes, to everything has been paid for by our parents. And now, when we become independent, 21, 22, 23, when we finish our so-called education and go into the real world, we need to survive. Now we need to worry about paying for our own bills. We need to worry about wanting to be able to get our luxuries. Now, how are we to talk about wanting to serve humanity when we have not even got the ability to think about ourselves? How are you going to serve humanity when you cannot even fulfill? What does this mean? Calling is not for anybody who cannot fulfill this too. Calling is not for anybody who cannot fulfill this too. Calling is only for the best. Calling is only for somebody who has been able to fulfill their survival needs. They have been able to fulfill their luxuries. And then they still have got much more to be able to give to humanity. Superman, not Superman, Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. That's a calling, but he had great power first. If he didn't have great power, he's not going to be able to fulfill any calling. You don't have the ability to go and make a difference in your own life, you won't be able to make a difference in the lives of others. So what we need to become very clear is that calling is, yes, exciting, wonderful, but when the children have no food to eat, and you don't have the ability to fulfill whatever you need to fulfill, then the calling feelings will start to die. So if you really want to be able to have a calling, then you need to be above the ordinary. You have to be the top, the outstanding, the brilliant people, and people who will be able to go out and give your best to the world. So we must become very clear. Many people have this excitement. I want to be able to do this and do that, but soon the excitement dies. Okay? So if you become clear that to have a calling, you must be able to go above basic survivals. You must be able to go above, which means to say you need to have those necessary skills. And then when you go into the calling, it's not a bed of roses. It's not a bed of roses, it's a lot of fun. But there are challenges which are now double. You have to worry about your challenges of your life, for your own personal needs, and you have to sit down and think how you're going to be able to help people who cannot make their lives, who cannot fulfill their life, who cannot fulfill their responsibilities. Now you as their leader, you as the person who is outstanding, are going to go about trying to achieve this. This must become very clear. This is the meaning of the word calling. Calling, if you can achieve this, then life is wonderful. Then life is wonderful. So we need to become clear that this is not some fun. It's not something let's go in and let's do it. But if you can do it, the happiness, the fulfillment, the satisfaction is unimaginable. We're talking about Maslow. You all know Maslow? Yeah, we're talking about Maslow. We're talking about actualization. Someone who has reached everything and now he wants to give back to the world. This, you will become the greatest of human beings. That's why you go down in history. You go down in history as human beings who have been able to fulfill all your needs, and you have made something massive for humanity. This is the meaning of the word calling. You have mission, you have a mission. You want to be able to do something. Now you have the capacity to do it. You have the ability to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Every human being has the ability. But you need to be able to develop the necessary skills. You need to be able to set this standard, this goal, that you want to go above the ordinary. Now in the past, Superman, Spider-Man, I do not know how they got their gifts. Maybe they were lucky. Because they were lucky, then they were able to fulfill their responsibilities of trying to serve humanity. Does that mean a calling is only for those people who are lucky? No. A calling is available to all humanity. All human beings are equal wherever you come from. Whether you come from the poorest of countries, whether you come from the richest of countries, there are difficulties, problems everywhere in the world. And anybody who is a human being, he has the potential to become a great human being. He has the potential to take up a calling and put his or her mark on earth. Like that, I also had my calling when we came to Cambodia. My calling goes back 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I was a school dropout. I was not able to achieve many things in my life, and I could hardly make ends meet. And then I learned about a program. I learned about a program which helped me to believe in myself. A program that taught me that I also can achieve whatever I want to achieve if I develop all the skills. So I don't have to believe in my horoscope that something is predetermined, whether I'll make it, I won't make it, whether I have a calling, I won't have a calling. I learned a program, I'm talking about 30 years ago, when positive thinking and mind sciences were all very, talked about. I learned and I was taught this, and I started to realize, and it changed my whole life. And I started to believe that actually I'm no less than anybody in the whole world. And I can achieve everything I want to achieve. I'm not going to go down as a person who cannot make ends meet or can barely make ends meet. When I realized that, my life started to change. I started to feel, if I was going through all that kind of difficulty, then surely there must be thousands of others. Then, while I have now achieved whatever I want to achieve, then let me go about trying to do for others so that they also will be able to live better life. That's when I started this organization with my two sons. And I told my two sons this. I said, they are a bit different from me. Okay. I told my two sons this. I said, you are different from me. I came from a background where I was a school dropout. I came from a family of 12 brothers and sisters. My father was able to make ends meet, and we were not able to do anything. I managed to try to get into some backdoor university and then got dropped out because I don't have the discipline. Okay? But I said, I found my calling, I learned something, I realized who I am, and I started to do. But I said, you, from the time you were born in my life, you have been given the best of trainings. You have been given the best of everything. Today, you have more than what most people have. I've given you the best education, I've given you the best opportunities, I've given you the best luxuries. So you are lucky. Why were you born in my family? I don't know. I believe in God. You could have been born in any other family, but you were born in my family. So in a sense, you are lucky. Lucky in a sense, you have more. Share some of your luck with the rest of the world. You also live your life, do well, but also share some of your luck with the rest of the world. And they thought so, and they realized, and yes, they also basically came together. So we as a family have dedicated our lives towards trying to be able to achieve. But what do we go around doing? We go around telling people, step number one, learn how to fulfill your responsibilities, and step number two, if you have the ability to fulfill your responsibilities, then maybe you want to take up the opportunity to take up a calling, make a difference in the lives of others. So we go around different parts of the world. We started off in Cambodia. I came to Cambodia in 1997, worked in the university, brought students, I brought 24 students from all over Cambodia to live with me. From the districts, from the rural area school dropout to live with me, train them, educated them, build them, and then they were able to go out and survive. But before going out to survive, I told them that I believe in the principle that whatever you receive, you should try to give back. So why don't you, 6 months of your time, 1 year of your time, before you go out, go and do some service to humanity as a way to pay back. You got everything free. Why don't you give back something before you go into the real world? So they agreed, and they thought it was a great idea. So from there, these people who lived with me, in a year or so, they went out to run centers. And we started off with 8 centers, and within a short time we were in every province in the country. Because what I used to do as I trained people, when they graduated with me, now they were able to go and teach people foundation education. What we do is we give foundation education, and I'll explain what foundation education is. And when we were able to do a lot, then we moved on. We went to East Timor. East Timor is the next poorest country. Cambodia and East Timor have a very similar history. Okay. East Timor, Cambodia got independence from whatever regime, and then they got their election with UN coming in 1992, 1994 they got the government. East Timor also got independence from Indonesia in 2000, in 2002 they got their government. Here, 1994 the first government was established, 1997 the government collapsed. East Timor, the government established in 2002, and 2006 the government collapsed. Okay? Now these were the countries where people are most displaced. Children who are going to school, who are in their teen age, because of war, because of problem, because of difficulty, they are not able to fulfill their education. What do? They need to have an alternative education so that they can also go into the world and make it. So we came up with a system called foundation education, or an alternative education to the public school education, which is a 2-year comprehensive program. We give it to you so strongly, then when you go out, you are able to survive. Now, what is this 2-year program? We teach you English. Everybody already knows the local language. We teach you English. We teach you basic mathematics, plus, minus, multiplication, division, fractions, and discounts. Then we teach you computer. These 3 things you need if you want to go into the world. Whether you know history, geography, science, doesn't matter, but you need to have English. You need to have basic mathematics. You need to know computer if you want to go into the working world. If you have these 3, and you go for an interview and you are a confident person, you are able to talk, you are able to speak. Okay? People will think that you have passed your high school. They don't care. They won't realize that you have failed because you are confident. Because you are able to present, you are able to carry yourself well. And if you have a good character, you are responsible, you are somebody reliable, you come on time, you are punctual, then you are the first ones to get promotion. Now with this foundation education where we teach you English, basic maths, computer, plus leadership and character, you will be able to make it in the world. So we started to do this, and people who don't have the ability to finish their public schools, they did this, and we have been able to achieve. Now, those who finish, we want to offer them something higher, which is foundation, which is basically a calling. But we tell people, again, to have a calling, you must be outstanding. To have a calling, you must be somebody realistic. You need to be very clear that the world out there is not easy, but the world out there needs every help it can get. The world is going through so much of difficulties. It could use every help it could get. Any amount of people who can go and dedicate their life towards the betterment of humanity, the world could use everyone. Okay? There will never be a shortage of the need of people who are ready to go and do service to humanity. But to do that, you must have the ability to be out there. You must become the mentor. You must become the example. Because people are not going to just receive from you whatever service you are doing. They're going to look up to you. They're going to see you. They're going to follow you. They're going to turn you into their mentor. They're going to basically do everything you are doing. Now, if you do the wrong things, you teach the wrong things. You are a public person. You have to be extremely careful when you do this. So, if this begins to happen, then you can either do a disservice or you can do a great service. You can go out into the field as somebody with a calling and actually sometimes maybe cause more problems. Or you could be somebody who could actually make a massive difference if you have the right principles, if you have the right skills. So going into the outside world, finding a calling is something which only you will be able to know, because somebody may be interested in environment, somebody may be interested in education, somebody may be interested in medical. You can be interested in any field. But whatever field you are interested in, that is your calling. But in that situation, the kind of person you portray, the kind of leadership you have, the kind of way you handle things, this is very, very important. This is crucial. So we realizing this, we realizing that it's very, very important that when you send somebody as an ambassador, these people who are going out there to do service to humanity are going to be treated like leaders, are going to be treated special. You need to have somebody who is able to carry themselves well, is able to present themselves well, is able to actually create a positive impact, not someone who goes in there and creates a negative impact. Now, you have volunteers, you have people going out there, and when they go into a country or they go into a place and they start condemning the systems which are being run there. They start condemning. In my country like this, in my country like that, and the people in my country are like this, and these people are like that, and the government is doing this, and the government is doing that. We call this Cyclo government. We call this the government of these people who are trishopolis. Okay? They can't even take care of their families and they're judging the government. You know how difficult it is to run a family? You know how difficult it is to run a business? The government is running the whole country. No government is a perfect government, but they are trying to do their best. They have their weaknesses. Now, if you want to help a government, then go and support a government, don't judge the government. Don't come up with destructive criticism, come up with constructive criticism. Come up and say, yes, these are your weaknesses, come, let me see how I can help you. Because I run schools. I have 60 schools in East Timor, 60 schools here, another 50 schools. I am a drop in what the government does. The government has thousands of schools. They are handling millions of people. We are just handling a small drop. We have to be very conscious. We are here to help the government, not try to think we can do better than the government. This, to me, is very important when you go as a person with a calling. You are here to support. You are here to help. You are here to be humble that I'm doing a little bit. Yes, I am doing. I see some problems. Everybody has problems. So it is very, very important that when you go into a calling, you are trying to find ways of how to solve the problem. You know, when I came to Cambodia, I just tell you a small story, and I was teaching in the university, and the only subject I can teach is English. So we are all of these expected teachers sitting down together, and we're talking about these students. You know, we're talking about their copying, their lazy, and this and that, and giving all kinds of complaints. I said to them, were we not aware that before coming to this country, this was the circumstances? That's why we came to this country too. We knew these kind of things were happening. We came here to help, not to judge. We didn't come here to, show that these are the things that are happening. We came here to help. We should understand. We should try to make difference. We should encourage. We should motivate. We should help them to change, not start judging them. I find this aspect of calling very, very important. That's why I'm emphasizing on it. You, if you can free yourself from this so-called negative skill of judging, of trying to pick, of destructive criticism, and if you take this out and develop the other 9 skills, you will do phenomenal work. The country will love you. The people will love you. You will really create a positive impact in society. So, calling is definitely a wonderful thing. But you have to do it in a very proper way. Anybody can have calling, and you need to really be the example. So this is basically just giving you an idea of what the calling is. If you want to be outstanding as a human being, you need to have 9 skills. If you have these 9 skills, you will be able to achieve phenomenal things. And these 9 skills are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and H. We call them AHA. Aha! Like when you come to a realization. So we call this aha. Are you ready for this? Is there any question in between on the first part? Because now I'm going to go into the second skills. Or the questions will come a little later. Yeah? Are you ready for aha skills? Yes. Am I speaking too fast? No. No? Clear enough? I'm still okay, right? Yes. Yeah, good. Now, we chose 9 skills. Why? Because these are 9 aspects in life which we need to address. And we need to have those skills so that we will be able to address these 9 aspects in life. First aspect in life is, we use the word A for aura. Aura means your nature, your friendliness, your love, your heart, your good relationships. Now, we are human beings, different from animals. Animals are not social beings. Animals do not live in societies. Animals live alone among themselves. Okay? So, because we are people who live in society, we need to have people skills. We need to be able to get along with literally anybody. So you need to have a great aura. You need to be able to mix with the good people, the difficult people, the young people, the old people. You need to be able to forgive, to understand, to be somebody who can churn. We use the word churning. You can work with literally anybody. Because we are human beings and the world is made up of all kinds of people. Do you have people skills? Do you have a great aura? Do you have the ability to work, to be around, okay? To cooperate, to synergize, to be able to do all of these things. So you need to have what we call the first skill. It's called aura. If you have aura, people will love you, they will cooperate with you, they will work with you, they will do. And because you do not judge, because you do not look down, you do not, have this thinking that you come from a foreign country and these people are local. People feel close to you, they are able to learn from you. You have a very nice nature, you have a very caring nature, you have an understanding nature, you have a forgiving nature. This nature is very crucial. This nature is very crucial for you if you are going to stand up as a leader. Because you are leading people. Because you are dealing with people, people need to feel close to you. Do you have that skill that somebody can feel close to you? Because we live in societies and we are going out to help people. So this aura is very crucial because we live in society. Your father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, children, colleagues, business, everything is dealing with people. We are human beings who need to have interactions, relationships with people, so we must have people skills, positive people skills. So we say you must work on your aura. You must find ways of how to be able to forgive people, how to be able to understand people, how to be able to overcome difficulties, how to cooperate, how to synergize, cross-cultural, cross whatever, able to accept, not able to judge. Okay? So the first skill is A. You must have this thing that you are able to work with people. Then the second thing is B. What is B? Believe in self. Now all human beings have the potential to achieve whatever you want to achieve. But this potential cannot be turned into ability if you don't believe. If you don't believe that you are a human being, if you do not believe that you have all the necessary instruments to be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve, then you cannot change potential into ability. Billions of people live their whole life never turning their potential into ability. People don't even believe they can drive a car. They don't believe they can speak English. They don't learn English. They don't believe they can talk in public, so they don't talk in public. They don't develop the skill. They don't believe they have the ability to go overseas, so they don't go overseas. They don't believe they can become rich, so they don't strive. Your potential turning into ability is dependent upon your belief. Now we come from backgrounds. From this part of the world, girls are considered lower than boys. This part of the world, people who come from rural are feeling inferior to those who are living in the cities. So what begins to happen? We don't believe. We have been indoctrinated. We have now got this mental block. When we see people, we just cannot do anything because we don't believe. How are you going to create this belief in people? How are you going to portray that you have this belief in self? Because anybody who has belief in self will be able to achieve whatever they need to learn, whatever they need to develop. Sooner or later, some skill, something will come about. And if you have belief that you are human being, you have the potential, you are as good as anybody else, then you can achieve it. But for you to have belief, many people think belief is connected to intelligence. If you're intelligent, you have belief. No. Belief is just connected to practice. That's all. I don't know if you all have watched this movie, Forrest Gump. To me, Forrest Gump is the best example. He won 3 great medals. He was the greatest ping pong player and the greatest runner, and he had this big business of whatever it is, whether true story, not true story, that story was really good. He didn't have the intelligence, but he didn't have the laziness. He would practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And because he could practice and practice and practice, he became good. In our English program, we make people practice and practice and practice. Belief is all about practice. Belief is not about intelligence. Anybody, show them what to do, get them to practice, 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 they will become. Now there are some people who pick things up faster. Yes, it's true. But the person who picks things up faster just needs to practice a little less compared to the person who picks things up slower. So when they were growing up in their lives, so what began to happen? Their parents made them practice a lot of things. So now their brains are already, their muscles in the brains are already very active. The people who didn't get this practice when they were young, now they need to practice more so that their brains also have the ability to achieve. So believe in self, turning potential into ability to achieve, learn whatever you want. It's all a question of practice. Some people will take longer, some people will take shorter. But everybody can do it. You can put a monkey down there, they're not going to do it. They don't have the potential. We have the potential. We don't have the practice. We don't have all of the support. Now this is what people need. Now if you can practice whatever you want, you will be as good. You will be outstanding. Okay? What's the third thing? Third thing is, life is full of challenges. Life is full of problems, full of difficulties, full of weathers. Today is good, tomorrow is bad, this difficulty happens, that things happen. You know, you have challenges, problems, difficulties, blackouts, accidents, people steal your things. Life is full of all kinds of problems. And to all of these problems, we need to react. We have to react. Now, if you react in an angry state, in a bad mood state, then your reaction will create more problems. But if you react to these situations in a calm state, it has happened, this is the reality, I cannot change what has happened, but now, what can I get out of this? What can I do? Then you will be able to learn from this mistake, and you will be able to react to this situation in a most effective way. But if you are not calm, if you are impulsive, you are angry, you are in a bad mood, your ability to react to situations will be bad and you will create more problems. And nobody escapes all these problems in the world because problems, difficulties, challenges, injustices, all that. It's about how we react to them. Knowing that they are going to be there. What we need to do, we need to be able to be ready. So that when these problems come, they are ready to be calm and find out how to be able to react to them in the most effective way, the most wise way, instead of in the most impulsive way and create more problems. Because many a times, we are the ones who bring more problems into our lives. So do you have the ability, what we call, to be calm? And you have the fourth one is called D. D is discipline. Now discipline is a very interesting thing. The normal person thinks that discipline is a control. Laws are control. When actually, if you sit down and think properly, laws, most laws, there are some laws which are unjust laws, but most laws, whether they are natural laws, whether they are school laws, whether they are hotel laws, whether they are spiritual laws, whether they are country laws, laws are there to be able to give you the maximum out of that situation. Take for example health laws. I want to be healthy from now until I die, another 50 years. And if I break the laws, I'm not going to be healthy all through. But if I follow those laws, now I will be able to be healthy maximum, the same way with traffic laws. What are traffic laws? Traffic laws are there to help us to get the maximum out of traffic. Because that road is not being used by only one or two, it's being used by thousands. You need to be able to put laws there so that with these laws, you can get the maximum speed for the 1,000 people to achieve their destination. So what are laws? Are laws there to control us? Or are laws there to actually facilitate us, to make things easy? And laws are basically set up by the most genius people. It's set up by nature, it's set up by law. So, human beings, when we look at laws, we are thinking of how to break the law. We are not thinking about this law is there to make sure I get the maximum out of my life, maximum out of school, maximum out of country. Accepting the fact that I am not the only one living in this country. I need to be considerate. We need to think about everybody else. But when you have the wrong mindset, you have the wrong idea of what laws are all about. This is what happens. So do you have this thing clear? That laws are there for the betterment of humanity, but they are unjust laws, I agree. But they are 5%, 10% of all the 100% laws, 100 of laws, we have 5%, 10% of the unjust laws. We'll sit down and sort these unjust laws out, but 95% of all laws are there for the betterment of humanity, for the fairness of humanity, for the ability for everybody to get the best. Now, can we instill into people? The laws are there for the collective good, not for the individual good. Laws are there for the full life benefit, not for the immediate benefit. Because when you break the laws, you enjoy it. But in the long run, you suffer. So, if we can understand the importance of being disciplined, to be able to follow the law, to be able to be considerate, understand that we are society, and how to be able to get the maximum, then things will change. So we have got D. Now we come to E. What's E? You can say third eye, you can say education, you can say intellectual faculty, you can call it reflection. So E means education. Now what's the meaning of education? A lot of us go to school, and we study. And we memorize, and we write the exam, and after that we pass and we forget. Whatever we learn, we forget. Is it education? I don't think so. Education means you understand. It makes sense. You can question, you can change. You are able to apply. You can, you use critical thinking. You try to think. You try to understand. Why? You are questioning. And when you really understand, now you can apply. But most people, they don't want to use this thinking. They are just happy for instructions to be given to them and they follow. But if you want to be a great human being, you want to be somebody who is a leader, you cannot afford to be somebody who follows. You need to be somebody who is a thinker. Okay? And you need to have somebody who reflects, reasons, understands, investigates, finds out, experiments, and then you are able to apply. Because the world is constantly changing and you cannot follow a system everywhere. Sometimes things need to be adjusted to fit in different situations. But if you only have knowledge, you will not be able to do this, and many a time we take things out of context because we are not educated people. We don't think, we don't reason, we don't question, we don't find out, we don't investigate, we don't experiment, we don't review, we don't research. The whole world has moved forward because of all the scientists. These scientists are thinkers. They are people who are realistic, they understand, they're able to apply, they're able to change situations, and that's how humanity comes. But the vast majority of us are happy to be just followers. You need to have the ability to think. You need to have the ability to reason. You have the ability to understand, not just. So E is a very important skill. And then you have to be F. What's F? F means you are a fair human being. You are not somebody who's going to side your brother, sister, family, son, and all that when there is something which is involving others. You are fair. You are trustworthy. If the laws of a country were fair, then everybody has an equal chance. But many of us, when we come into positions of authority, positions of power, now we don't become fair. We all start to become biased. We have vested interests. We become people who are sometimes even prejudiced towards certain individuals. We're not fair. Now, if you are a fair human being, wherever you are, everybody in the village will respect you. They can trust you, they can depend on you, because they know you stand for the truth. You're not going to stand for friends. You're not going to stand for anybody. You're a fair human being. You're a trustworthy, you're a responsible, you're a truthful human being, because you believe that everybody should be given equal rights, equal opportunities. You're a perfect, you're a fair human being. Now, if you have fairness, it's fantastic. Next one is grow. G is grow. Everything grows. Your education grows, your knowledge grows, your body grows, your ability to, develop anything grows. So are you somebody who's constantly thinking of how to improve, how to better? Is your tomorrow better than your today? Is your, you are given a project, are you constantly trying to improve this project, constantly trying to, upgrade this project? Because the whole world is constantly growing. Every time new computers come up, we need to upgrade, we need to update. We need to be able to, change, adjust, because the world is constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly getting better. Are we also having that kind of a mindset? Are we also people who are constantly growing, constantly developing, constantly improving? Are we constantly thinking of how to better? There is this thing called dialectics. Dialectics is thesis, antithesis, synthesis. 500 years ago, everybody carries things on the head. That is the means of transportation. And from there, it improves. People put a stick and they carry 2 baskets. And that is their form of transportation. The next thing they do is they get a trolley and they push. That is their form of transportation. From that trolley, you get a cow or a horse in front. The next thing you improve. From there, you basically get a truck and trucks and ships and all that. Everything keeps growing. Everything keeps evolving. The world is moving forward because human beings are constantly growing. Everything is growing, everything is evolving for the better. Are you such a kind of a person? Is this how you think? Are you always trying to see how to improve? You're having your meetings, trying to find out where your weaknesses are, where can you overcome your weaknesses so that you will be able to do something better. Do you have this kind of thinking? Are you somebody who has G, ability to make things grow? And after that is H. What is H? H is, are you happy? Under all situations. Are you happy only when it's your birthday, when it's your anniversary, or when it's some Christmas or Hari Raya or some Khmer New Year? Or are you somebody who can be happy in all situations? Because somebody who's happy is half full. Somebody who's happy has got a positive mindset, always trying to look for the good in everything. Are you able to be happy? Because if you are not happy, you don't have the power to work. You don't have the power to work. You need to be happy because happiness is energy. Happiness is power. Where there is love, nothing is too much love. But if you are not happy, where is all the power going to come from? So do you have the ability to determine when to be happy, or is the environment going to decide when you will be happy or when you will not be happy? So situations like this, do you have the ability to be happy? Okay. All the time, all areas. And the second H, the ninth one is humbleness. Are you humble? Are you able to recognize that there is so much to learn, there's so much you don't know? Are you able to recognize that everybody in the world is like you? Everybody in the world is also striving. Everybody is trying to do some good. How can you learn to work, to understand instead of judging and looking down? How can we people who can really cooperate and work? Are you somebody who is humble? Now when you have these 9 skills, you are somebody who has great belief in yourself, you will be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Any problem comes, you are calm. You are somebody who is constantly thinking, understanding, reasoning. You are able to make things grow. You are happy in all situations. You have great relationship with others. You are a disciplined person. You are a fair person. If this is the kind of person you have, these 9 skills, wherever you go, people will love you. Wherever you go, people will salute you. This is somebody who is truly a great human being. Because they are fair. Their ability, they are able to grow anything. They can think, they can reason, they are not blind followers. They are not basically going to accept something until they investigate. They have great relationships they have. They have the ability to develop any skill. They are calm under all situations. They are not impulsive, not angry, not fast. Okay? And you can work with them. You can get along with them. If these are the skills you have, then you become great human beings. Today, for you to get a job, for you to be able to earn enough for yourself is no problem. And then now, you qualify to be able to go into callings. Now you can do what? Because for you to survive, you are above survival. You are above all this ability to earn few dollars to survive. Because you are among the outstanding. And whatever is your skill, which is your academic skill, all academic skills is for you to be able to do a job. But these are your full human ability to be able to handle all situations. Now academic skills give you the money. A full human ability tells you that even though you have the money, you have family problems, you have health problems, you have relationship problems, you have social problems, you have inabilities to do so many things. There are so many other problems, it's not just money. But when you are a full human being and a leader out there, people are looking at you. You are able to achieve, you are able to solve, you are able to find a solution, you are able to do this. This is what is required for a person to fulfill their calling. If you want to fulfill your calling, you need to be outstanding, you need to be dynamic, you need to be somebody who will be able to achieve. Because the whole world, that set of people are looking up to you as their leader. You cannot afford to be weak. They come to you, everybody will come to you for advice for this. You are that outstanding. Do you have these skills? So that you will be able to lead in the most positive way, most effective way. Okay? Now 100 years ago, I call this progressive education. Okay? 100 years ago, my grandfather could read and write. The whole village couldn't read and write, only my grandfather could read and write. And because my grandfather could read and write, he became the leader, because he had something more than the rest. He became the village chief. But 30 years later, my father couldn't become the village chief, even though my father could read and write. Because by the time my father could read and write, by the time my father became an adult, so many people were able to read and write. Anybody who finished school became the village chief. Anybody who was outstanding in the public school, they became a village chief. But 30 years later, many people finished public school. And all the people finished public school, they didn't become leaders. Anybody who finished university, they are the ones who became the leaders. But 30 years later, you have thousands of people finishing university. Becoming a university graduate is not something which is outstanding. Everybody seems to be doing it. But anybody who had computer about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, they were outstanding. But today children are playing with computers. Today kids are playing with computers. Today you have computers is not enough to be considered somebody is outstanding, because everybody has computers. Today if you want to be the leader, today if you want to be somebody out there, having a university degree is not enough. Having a computer is not enough. Of course, you definitely know how to read and write. But today, to be the leader, what is that expert? Do you have leadership and character? Do you have the 9 skills? I worry about what happens to the next generation and know what they will have to achieve. But for you to constantly be ahead, you need to have something more. When you have something more, then people look up to you and say, yes, this person is really somebody who is outstanding, brilliant, dynamic, educated, as good as anybody else. And not only that, they are able to sincerely dedicate their life to the betterment of humanity. This is the standard for you to go out into the field. For you to be able to fulfill your calling, for you to be able to have this ability to solve problems, because you have to have solved your own personal problems, your survival problems, plus you are supposed to lead to solve the problems of your community or your study. You require much more. You need to have all the skills. And then, when you go out, people will salute you. You will be able to do great service in humanity. And people really need it. Look at the world today. It really needs everybody's help. But we need to be there out there. Now, you were chosen from the top universities to come for this symposium because there was hope that you are already outstanding in your education. You are already outstanding in many other aspects. Now, and this is a hope that you will become those who will go out and serve humanity. I'm just trying to help you see something you may have overlooked. I'm sure all of you are great in your own ways. You have good friendship, you have great auras, you have great belief in self, and you are calm, you are fair, and you are happy people, you've got the right mindset. But they may have one or two things that you missed out. I'm just trying to show you in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, H, aha! And that way you might be able to check yourself. And this might be even an easy way for you to help somebody to be able to see how their life can come out. So, finding your calling and fulfilling your calling is what we are trying to share. I think so. Thank you very much. I hope you
Development Institute provides life skills and non-formal education to post-school dropouts, especially girls from rural areas in Cambodia and throughout Southeast Asia.
CDI is a 2-year program where we start in the province. Students enroll into our province centers and they start from scratch, maybe basic ABCD, English, basic confidence. So we start in the province centers for 6 months and we train them in English, in confidence, in belief in self, in esteem, to slowly build their personal self up so that they believe that they can be something in life. That's a 6 months period. Once they graduate in the province, they come to Phnom Penh, where they go for the high level, the next level of training, second semester, and they come to Phnom Penh. What happens is they get higher education. And in Phnom Penh, we train the students to evolve into trainees, trainee teachers. Once that finishes, if they graduate, they go back to the province and they give back and they practice what they've understood or what they've studied throughout the 1 year. Now, whatever you have studied, whatever you've understood, the only way to actually use it, the only way for it to become really productive is if you're able to teach somebody about it. Then it really becomes your personal character. Once that 6 months period is up, you come back to Phnom Penh for the next level of your final period in LCDI, your final semester, where you get the skill training. Skill training as in marketing, management, accounting, basic skills, supervisor skills, skills to actually help you find a job, skills to help you be able to get a good job and to be able to help you to move up from your job, from a lower position to a higher position, to a higher position, to a higher position.
Basically what we do is we give them a whole new view to life. We educate them in all the necessary skills. We give them life skills, academic skills, character skills, or what we call hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are our academic skills where we give them English, we give them computers, marketing, management, small business operation, job preparational skills. And soft skills is where we instill back these values, these leadership skills back in their life: dynamism, confidence, belief in self. And the soft skills were love for one another, caring, you gotta live in harmony, you gotta respect each other, whether it's a different sect, a different race, a different religion.
We have many different activities in LCDI, right from education, as in English classes, motivational classes, science of life classes. We have different awarenesses programs, HIV awarenesses, drug awarenesses, trafficking awarenesses, child abuse, women abuse. Then we have blood donations, cleaning of pagodas. I would say that students who come to LCDI, before they come to LCDI, they're not really able to live up to good life standards because they're either from the provinces or they're poor. They are unable to achieve much in life. But after they come to LCDI, the confidence building, the English building, the skills building, they slowly become more confident people, more dynamic people, more courageous, more capable people. And step by step, they're able to improve a lot in life. After they finish the program, they get jobs. They start with smaller jobs, but because they have the attitude and the behavior of always helping, of always trying to do more, of always being a student, of always trying to learn more things, they go up in life very fast, I would say.
The main thing that's so special about us is how we get them to view life, how we get them to view their country, how we get them to view each other. Make them believe that you can do it. You might be from the province, you might be poor, you might be disadvantaged, but it does not make you any less than any other human being. You have just the same amount of potential, equal potential, and that's what we believe strongly, and that's what we make them believe in. Look what happens. They're just as good as those in the province, those in Phnom Penh, for that matter, and they never believed they could be like that.
I tell you the truth. Before I read LCDI, even ABC, I don't know how to count. I know how to communicate, and I know how to speak English.
When I met LCDI, I started to change everything. I learned about motivation, sign on life, about believing in self, about future, who am I. So I started to believe myself that I could become somebody else. I could see my result that I'm using. I could speak English as other people. I could see foreigner. I could do communication with foreigner. So I started to believe myself step by step.
Yeah, let's start with some questions over here.
Thank you. I'm Stephen, currently studying Master in Accounting in Swinburne University of Technology, Melbourne. Thank you so much for the inspiring and the tips. Hopefully I can implement your AHA for my future career. But sometimes I feel a bit difficult. I'm not sure whether others have the same experience with me regarding your A and F that seems conflicting. For my case, let's say in the past when I have the working life, that sometimes what I do, we achieve something. The manager is the one that claims credit. So is that fair to us? I mean, then when I go back to study, sometimes we need to have a group assignment, a group of 4 or 3 that is planned on the assignment, that we will be paired up with someone that we hardly know in the past, so maybe different background. But whenever someone try to do something, or let's say the team of the group try to have a meeting, someone didn't turn up, or someone maybe like we have a deadline and then we pass the deadline, that will drag down the whole team. So it's a bit dilemma, a bit fairness, and also the soft skill of positive aura. Try to be positive when something is already negative happen and drag you down. Any tips for us to overcome that kind of thing? Thank you.
I don't think this only is a fair situation. This is a calm situation and an aura situation where what can you do? They didn't come. Whether it's fair, it's not fair, they're not here. What are you going to do? Are you going to continue? Are we going to blame? Because blaming is not going to solve the problem. Complaining is not going to solve the problem. Because we need to move on. And you will always have this kind of problem. There's a traffic jam. You want to complain? There's a traffic jam. So we need to move on. So yes, I agree. There's situations where, people don't care. But you are fair. You have to be fair. Whether somebody else is fair or not, that's their problem. And because they are not fair, they're not going to become outstanding. They're not going to become great human beings. But you have to make sure you are fair. But just because somebody is not fair, you cannot decide not to be fair.
But in the group assignment, if someone is not coming, so we kick them out from the group, that means we are unfair to him that he or she might be fail the subject.
Don't kick them out.
So carry the name and do the job. Thank you so much. Thank you for the tips.
I am Anuradha from Sri Lanka. So thank you very much for your inspiration and realistic speech. My question is, how most of our lives are in a transition period of our lives. So we just completed or still engaging in our education, or sometimes most of them still doing engaging and still very recently completed their education. If we concern about Asian people, most of them depending on their parents' money still. So that's why I said we are in a transition period. So we have to be a little bit selfish and concerned more about ourselves before we are serving for others. As you said, we have to fulfill our needs first before serving for others. But at the meantime, we have to do volunteering and other work also to be a very capable and outstanding person. So we have to balance both things. My question is, how do we balance both things and do our work in the best manner?
Fulfill your responsibility before helping others. Step number one. Step number two, you still have got 1 hour. Do something in your village. Do something in your office. Do something there. But get this spirit of wanting to do something for humanity. And that's it. But fulfill your responsibility before you can help others. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a question. Leaders bring changes, and those 9 responsibilities that we had was really, I agree with them all. But the question is that when there's a problem, there's changes needed to be brought. And leaders bring good changes, right? So but in order to bring changes, we have to diagnose and really see the problem. And in order to do that, we have to be critical, as you said. But how can we be critical without judging? Because we have to judge and diagnose the problem and see the bad points and bring changes.
Being critical and being judgmental is different. One is destructive criticism, one is constructive criticism. Now, antithesis is critical, but we're trying to understand. Do it without hurting somebody's feelings, but sometimes the truth hurts, then try to make it as soft as possible. But make sure there is no emotions involved. So that whatever you are doing, you are addressing, things need to be changed. Yes, we have to do certain things. There are certain things which are wrong, but be very careful about some of these things. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So what we're hearing, the same message, is that we can take in information, remove the emotion behind it, and then just act accordingly. So that when the gentleman was talking about somebody not participating, we can still evaluate, we don't want to be critical of that. So taking the emotion out of it.
Hello sir, my name is Mara, representing Malaysia. My question is, sometimes when we get a particular calling, it may compel us to go out of our own societies to help other societies in other countries around the world, despite the fact that our own societies may be in need. So then when we decide to actually leave our home to fulfill this calling, people may say like, oh, look at this person helping another society when his or her own society is in need. So, though for me, help is always help, and it doesn't matter who you help or how big or small the scale is, as long as your heart is at the right place. But not everyone has this type of mentality, so what are your thoughts on this?
You are right. I should have been helping Malaysia instead of coming to Cambodia. But by coming to Cambodia, I not fulfilled any of my responsibilities to my mother, to my father, or to whoever. If I have fulfilled my responsibility to the whole world, you can go. If you are not putting anybody in difficulty, then the whole world is your place. But if you have got your own family and then you want to go and help. Now this is wrong.
I was just wondering, in terms of belief, you said that's the limiting factor to turning financial assets into ability. When in a leadership position, how do you foster that belief in others?
I didn't get the question.
You're saying, you were talking about belief, that we have to start there. And therefore we can't, until we believe in ourselves, we can't do anything. But how do you foster that belief system in other people? How do we change their mindsets?
Now, everybody, they have their own logic, we call personal logic, about why they're this and why they're that. You have to clear that first. And you have to clear that with a lot of examples. And then you have to actually help them see that, hey, actually you can develop something, you can achieve something, and it has to grow. If you don't do it in small examples, small situations, and talk to them, it's not going to happen. Now, there is one more part of the brain which is difficult for me to explain because of shortage of time, where everything we know we cannot follow. And why we cannot follow? Because the brain, the subconscious works on feeling, the mind, the conscious works on thought. You have to now be able to change your subconscious, whatever your thoughts are, convert them into feelings, unless only then will you be able to achieve it. So you have to start with small examples. Help them to understand and do the activity, and help them to believe. Help them to see, for, hey, yeah, it's true. This has to be on a CI cycle, step by step. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So my question is regarding in your education, you said people have to have like strong passion and critical thinking skill. But I find those people normally not very happy. So because they always see the negative side of the problem. So as a leader, how we should have strong critical thinking and passion and still be happy at the same time?
You don't have to answer the question.
Okay, so he's saying people who have the critical thinking skills tend to be a little bit more unhappy, if I'm catching that correctly. And so therefore, if they're in that state of mind, how do they proceed?
Critical thinking depends, are you positive critical thinker or are you negative critical thinker?
He was saying that he believes that people who are critical thinking are negative.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but normally can tend to outside because they see problems and good things.
So if they're not seeing the negative, they're not seeing the positive. We're talking about into critical thinking, and therefore seeing it as not necessarily positive. How do we flip that?
The whole world is full of problems, difficulties, challenges. Negative critical thinking is identifying these problems. Positive critical thinking is trying to find out how to be able to solve these problems. We have to switch from identifying, yeah, we know it's there. There is this problem and that person is dealing. We know. This is all identifying. So if you are just trying to pick his negative critical thinking, we are supposed to sit down and find how to solve. We need to bring the world forward. The problems will always be there.
Okay, thank you very much.
So we're like foreigners coming to local countries and we try to make a difference here. We have already prepared and we sing for them. We sing salt in their shoes and we know what is really truly good for them. In your experience, is there any cases that local people resist your help? If they did, how do you convince them to believe what you believe?
If what you are offering is threatening, like for example, sometimes religion. Okay, people who come out with religion, sometimes people become threatened because it's religion. Okay. And they think that you have got some agenda at the back, or you're trying to, turn them into some kind of group or whatever it is. But if you can sit down and help them see, okay, that what you are doing is really going to benefit them, and you don't have an agenda. Even we, just to give you an example, in Cambodia, when we started, we couldn't get girls to come to our school because the people here think that girls should be educated. We have to make a condition that if a boy wants to come and study free, he has to bring his sister or a cousin. If he doesn't bring a sister or his cousin, we are not going to accept them. That's the only way we could get gender balance. So we have to sit down and understand that these people are not mad. They may be having some concern. We need to understand the concern and address the concern. And then they will basically start to work. If you are sincere, if you don't have an agenda, and they have nothing to lose, they will come to know that it is good for them to interact with you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
Hello, sir. My name is Dara, and I'm from Cambodia. I actually have got a quote like everybody in the world is like their life is up and down. But later then I quote another quote from you that everybody needs to be happy all the time. So I want to know like what is your strategy to be happy all the time, because sometimes the surrounding environment is really bad. We cannot be happy. So my strategy is only think positive. So do you have any more strategy to be happy all the time? Thanks.
Happiness is relative. It's a matter of benchmark. So for example, if somebody gives you a small present, okay, and you think this is not worth it, you will not be happy. So actually, what is happiness to you? For us, happiness is only when there's a festival, there's some great thing happens, that's happiness. But in reality, that is life of adventure, the life of problems, the life of being able to solve things, the life of go through all the difficult things. For me, I tell myself, I want adventure of living in different countries, eating different food, experiencing different weather. I don't want to be comfortable. I want to have adventure. So happiness is about being able to appreciate all the wonderful things you have. You're healthy, you're fine, you're having good friends, you're making progress, you're making a difference in the world. You don't need to have something big just to feel happy. So it's changing your benchmark.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Malaysia. Firstly, I want to know what inspired you to initiate science of life student. And then, for example, if you see someone that have a low confidence level, so what is the first step to initiate them to become more in confidence?
If somebody doesn't have confidence, they have grown up in an environment where they have been removed of their confidence, whether it's home, whether it's school. Now you have to prove to them, and they really believe because they can feel it. They already start to believe that really they are lower or they don't believe. You have to prove to them that actually to break this, you need to break the feeling, you need to do certain activities. And if you do these activities again and again and again, you will be able to achieve it. You must help them to believe that they have to cross something to break this, but they can break this. Okay. And you have to walk them through. If you don't walk them through, they are not going to be able to do it. After you walk them through a few times, then you can basically leave them on their own. But you need to be there and help them to see that this is not true, but the feeling is still having a grip on you.
And her second question was really what inspired you to open the school?
The reason is 30 years ago, my life changed. And I really felt that this could make a difference in people. There are many people like me who would have hoped their life would be better. But I don't know whether I'm lucky or whatever it is. So how can I now also help them to get the same things I got? That's it.
Hello, I'm Anthony from the Philippines. My question is, how can a new leader make others believe again if their trust has been lost due to disappointments, broken promises, and etc. from the previous leaders? How can a new leader make others believe again if their trust has been lost due to disappointments, broken promises from the previous leaders?
Sometimes it could have been bad rumors. Sometimes we really made a mistake. Okay? Sometimes really we made a mistake, and because we made a mistake, people stop trusting us. Okay? You have to sit down and go back and do something. And they're not going to trust you immediately. But if they can see that you realize you made a mistake and you're really trying to change, which is going to take time, you will be able to gain their trust, not as easily, but they need to be convinced this is not some show.
Let me interrupt, because I think if I heard the question correctly, he's saying, if I was the previous leader and now I'm the new leader, and based on broken promises of the previous leader, how do I, as a new person, gain their trust? How do I get them to believe in me?
Your previous leader, you have to go down there and open your cards. You have to be humble and say, look, this is the reality. And accept the fact that the previous leader, don't condemn the previous leader, besides just maybe highlighting a few things. You're not here to basically become some politician and say all kind of bad things, but these are realities. He made a mistake, and I am here to try to make correction. If you go down and be humble and sincere, then you admit, yes, there were mistakes, and you are here to try to make them right. People will, initially a few, and slowly find out that this is different management, different leaderships. They will come back. Because people need you. People need your help.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, all the delegates from different countries. I'm a delegate from Cambodia. My name is Sophia, but I'm an NGO worker here. And I do appreciate all the speakers and inspirational talk, and especially this morning, all your principles, values, and you have put to us and skills. I just want to ask a question that related to laws that you mentioned this morning. And I remember the quote that Dr. Martin Luther King said once, you have the obligation to disobey unjust laws. And I think of also Mahatma Gandhi, and they are both remarkable men and my heroes. So what would you advise us as social agents, delegates here? Today's leaders, I call it not tomorrow's leaders. How would you react? How would you advise us to react with unjust laws somewhere near and far that people try to cover them up and try not to be brought to the lives?
Now, when you say unjust laws, what is this meaning of the word unjust law? Is it a government law? Is it a corporate law? Is it an individual? If you're talking about government, all I will tell you is this. Sit down, and if you think it's an unjust law, find a legal channel. Don't do an illegal channel. Find the legal way. Find the way which is acceptable in the world. That was the great thing which, for me, Gandhi did. Gandhi didn't do anything against the government. He found a way which was not going to show his disobedience in an illegal way. So, if really there is something, then yes, find a legal. There are many ways of how to be able to solve problems. To me, session solve and all that won't work. It is time to move to a different way. So, yeah. I am more for a person who tries to work towards the betterment of humanity and society, and I leave politics out of my.
Thank you for that question.
Hello, I'm Francis from the Philippines. I would like to ask, as a person who is a leader of an organization or holding an organization, what is the biggest failure and how did you deal with it?
Biggest failure?
What was your biggest failure and how did you deal with it?
My biggest failure was the ability to not bring a lot of poor people into this organization. The real poor people, they are so poor that unless you are able to give them more than just education, they cannot come. So we cannot reach the real hardcore poor. This is what I would consider, that we couldn't reach the real hardcore poor. Because if I had food, I could get them to come and study. But since I'm not able to provide food, I'm only able to provide free education, free accommodation, and their parents sometimes don't want, so I cannot do it.
So how does it uplift you, or how does it encourage you to push more of that advocacy?
It's because of that we started to go more and more into all rural areas. So at least they can stay at home. We have more schools. Instead of bringing them to central position, we diversify, go into more schools. That's how we did it.
So you failed forward. You did what I call failing forward. In other words, it wasn't working in the beginning, but he found a way to make it work. So failure, people think of failure is negative. It's It's not. It's a learning step. So, feel forward.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Lewis from Australia. My question was answered in part before, but you're giving us these 9 skills. But what happens if along the way either we find we're not particularly good at a skill, like we have trouble believing in ourselves or being humble or something like that, and then, or even along the way if our skills, if one of our skills drops, our standards slip, is there a particular technique that you need to try and improve yourself, or do you just kind of force yourself to be better?
Okay, so he's saying he likes all the principles, but sometimes what happens if one of the principles falls short? You stop believing yourself. How do you find the will or drive to kind of pick yourself up and deal with whatever one of those skill sets drops out?
And how specifically do you do that?
How do you do it?
You have to have your team. You have to be able to join a particular group as you are developing. You need to draw strength from each other. There are many times we are standing all alone. If we don't have a network, if we don't have other friends, we can't draw strength. We need to be able to draw strength. And we may be weak in a particular skill, but all the other skills can sometimes give us back the ability to move forward. Yeah. But I would say you need to draw strength from each other. Otherwise, it will be a little bit more difficult. Now, if you believe in God, pray more.
Sorry?
If you believe in God, then push yourself. Try to be a nicer person, a better person. And sometimes a nice book will come along, or somebody will come and explain, or somebody will teach you something. Some support will come.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for that question.
Hello, my name is Hannah. If my memory can serve me right, one of the characteristics of a leader, of a calling, is to be able to grow. But how can I grow in the midst of barriers such as discrimination, oppression, suppression, poverty, etc., etc.?
Growth is not necessarily only in numbers. Growth can be in quality. There are so many different kinds of growth. Growth can be in a better person, better quality, being able to do things in a different way. Sometimes it's just not possible to grow in numbers. Is that right? Yeah. So there are different senses of growth. If you have the numbers, very good. But if you don't have the capacity to expand, then improve the quality, improve what are you doing. So this ability to grow, ability to improve the situation is a mindset.
Thanks, Hannah.
Good morning, sir. My name is Jen from Vietnam, and I want to ask you a question about an issue that I myself recognize from my community. We are coming to establish the Asian community 2019, and there's a situation that Asian citizens in each Asian nation don't really take interest in Asian or any information new from other countries in Asia. Taking some of Vietnamese, for example, if someone mentions the word overseas or foreign, most of them think of the US, UK, Canada, France, but not Malaysia, Philippines, or Indonesia. If this will happen, the establishment of Asian community 2015 will not be effective and helpful. So how can we, the future generation of Asians, deal with this? How to utilize or take advantage of the calling of good leader in this situation? Thank you.
I'm not sure if you caught it. Okay, I'm going to have you rephrase, but go a little bit slower. All I caught was that you're talking about, you're from an ASEAN country, but where you lost us is where you were talking about what is the connection between the UK and the US. So I'm trying to understand what the question is. Can you rephrase it?
So I want to know how to utilize the calling of new leaders of Asian to make Asian citizens to raise the awareness of to be proud of Asian and take more interest in the news about Asia.
Okay, so if I heard you correctly, we'd like to know from the doctor, how can you encourage or how can he give you some advice on how you can inspire or motivate other youth within the ASEAN countries to take on the same kind of challenges of humanitarian affairs versus just people coming from foreign countries, from the UK, maybe from the US. Is that correct?
Okay. If I get it right, you want to know how to inspire local?
Yes.
How to get
ASEAN region. ASEAN youth.
Yes, yeah. You'll be surprised to know that there are a lot of local youth who want to go, but they don't have a platform. They do not know actually what to do, where to serve. Okay. And if we can show to them that actually there are so many places to be able to serve, they will come forward. And nowadays we have a lot of interns who are going and getting involved with either NGOs or businesses. Okay. So they need to know. The Europeans are a little bit more, or the Westerners are a little bit more in this field where they do a lot of checkup and see where they can go. Asians are still growing. But we need to show them platforms. Where can they go and serve? And you can provide them. And if somebody in Asia comes up with a place, then there are a few hundred places where everybody can go and serve, and then they contact these places and then they go. But yes, there are people in Asia who are now beginning to travel.
Hello sir, my name is John and I'm from Malaysia. Firstly, I would like to thank you for your very inspirational speech. My question is simple. As a leader, what is the best way to delegate tasks or giving orders to your teammates regarding their job scope? Because you might be working with someone who is elders or younger than you, or might be someone who is same age as you. Because maybe some of the junior leaders might have difficulties of delegating tasks to someone who is senior to them. So my question is, what is the best way to delegate tasks or giving order to someone who is older than you?
In life, there are 2 points. One is we have our physical instinct, and we also have another instinct which is called instinct, which is your name instinct. Okay? So when we go and buy a handphone, we will buy a handphone because of its function in the brand. So we want to show. We want to be accepted, we are accepted, or we are not accepted. So what we need to do in human beings, come clean. Tell them this is the reality. Because most of the time the problem is about protecting somebody's name or position. So if they know that the problem is not about name, not about competition, and you come clean, they will be able to listen to you. So I call this stop playing chess. Let's come clean. Look, we need to work together. This is the situation. How can we work together? Putting aside all our name, all our personal things. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Please join me in giving Dr. Singh a big aha.
Charles gives you A to H, and then Humanitarian Affairs give you the H to A. Okay. Thank you for the good time.